Boy, that sure brings back memories. I really enjoyed that. Hey guys, how you doing? Good afternoon, Danny here. I'm doing this video because after doing about 3.5 years of solid research in this vicinity where I'm at, basically one of the areas I've been doing a lot of research in is the Shingletown area. Why? Because when I first got here, I interviewed quite a few different eyewitnesses that had eyewitness accounts with Sasquatch here in Shingletown. Now, if anybody up here watches my videos at all, and I know some do, and I want to tell you hi. And I know for the ones that live up here, I know you want to know what I've came up with in the last 3.5 years. Not only did I cover, and this ain't the only area, also I've done extensive research over at Mount Lassen, past Mount Lassen, and a few other places, which I won't say, because I'm still investigating. And so here we go. This is what I have, this is what basically my research uncovered up here in Shingletown, okay? Now, up here, what I have found is that the ones that are up here, as in the hybrids, or your Sasquatch, they're rogues, okay? And when you're dealing with rogues, which is an individual, and they either are singular by themselves, or they'll run around in pairs too, or in some cases they'll run around in threes. Now, all your rogues are males. Okay, let me get this straight with you guys. All the rogues are males. You will never find a female that's a rogue, for a lot of good reasons. One, the females are very rare. Two, it's the only thing they have to reproduce. Three, you're only going to find a female is going to be with a clan, a large group. And like I said, for reasons. So, and that's why it's almost impossible to ever get a pic at all of a female. But I and Garland did. We got a female with a junior. The female we got, she was around 7.5 feet tall. She was a big gal. And how I know she was a female? She had large breasts. And she was what I call a silver. She was salt and pepper, and as in hair color. The junior, which had to been one of hers, he was a young one, kind of a reddish brown hair, and he was around, because I could tell by her height, he was around 5'10", 5'11", and that is a young junior. So, but that wasn't here, okay? So anyway, so up here, that's what we basically got. We got rogues. And that's specifically why you have an eyewitness account in one area and you never hear nothing again. Because see, these rogues are not territorial. They have no territory. They just go where they want to go, okay? And you got to be aware of these guys because of the fact they're all males and they're very, very large. And because they have to defend themselves, if need be, they got to forage for themselves too. So these guys are rugged individuals, I'm telling you right now. And they also could be very, very aggressive. So my advice to anybody in Shingletown, do not, hopefully you never cross paths with one of these guys, like I've had, point blank. Because you might run into a problem. You never know what's on these guys' minds, okay? They're intelligent beings. Let me tell you that, they are. And so anyway, that's what we have here. Now, and why do I say that? The evidence I have, the evidence I found up here relates right to it. Such as footprints, which I have acquired. I have acquired hair, droppings, and certain markers that are very important. You have to have some markers. You got to know what the symbols are on them. And so I have accumulated enough evidence to know that the fact that they are just rogues. Now, there could be a family out there somewhere. There could be a large group out there somewhere. But my guess is they're a little bit higher elevation and a little bit deeper in the interior. And that's why I'm pointing and focusing my research, when I continue it again, after the holidays, is I'm going to the back part of Mount Shasta and a part of Mount Lassen. That is what's on my agenda this spring. And that's exactly where I'll be concentrating. I've done what I could do around here. Now, I have not found no kind of I have not found any kind of shelters or a nest of any sort on the surface. Nothing constructed. What I have found from time to time is snaps and breaks in trees, which the one I showed you not too long ago, that was up about 15 feet up. And they have a significance because each marker, because they are considered markers, okay? It depends on how you find the trees snap or broke too. It means a lot, okay? Now what I have found up here was the way they're staggered around. Those are symbols of directional. And what do I mean by directional? Point of direction. In other words, point of travel. They follow those like you would drive in a car following a road sign. Same thing. And a lot of them pointed directional right to the water sources up here, okay? And which is understandable. Also, when I also came across certain areas where there were quite a few crops of pine trees clustered together where they were all pushed over. That is a symbol of aggression, okay? What I have not found was any kind of marker that would symbolize territory. Why is that? Because like I said, the rogues, they're not territorial. Your large groups and your clans, they are territorial. Now, also, I've been doing research on the UFOs up here. And which I know for a fact now, this area in Shingletown where I'm at, up here we call the Ridge, and like I told you before, I can go right out on my porch. I can go out here about 30 feet and do a quarter turn to my right, and I'm staring right at Mount Lassen, period. And it's gorgeous, gorgeous sight to see. It really is. So, I know for a fact that and I have already talked to some other people who live up here that has also experienced seeing these UFOs. Now I've done extension research on those too. So, my conclusion up here in the Shingletown area, around Mount Lassen, this is definitely a hot spot for UFOs. No ifs or buts about it. For instance, not only did I experience that strange situation from a few weeks ago, this past weekend, I observed 2 different UFOs. And in fact, One was this past Saturday at approximately 5:47 p.m. And I watched it come like usual, coming from the west. It was this flight pattern. He was going horizontal. In a horizontal fashion, he was going straight towards Mount Lassen. Now, when I first observed him, he was over here, off my west. He went from here to say here, where I'm looking at, and I'm still observing it, in probably about 2-3 seconds, if that. He was up about around 25,000 feet altitude. It was soundless, made no sound whatsoever. You know, I get commercial jets and whatever, and sometimes the military, they're up 25, 30,000 feet. I could hear their jet engines. This made no sound at all. Also, I calculated the speed from going from this direction. When it got to here, it had been doing at least between 3,000 to 4,000 miles an hour. Now look it. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have any kind of aircrafts on this planet that can do those kind of speeds. The fastest aircraft made by man on this planet is the SR-71, which it can do over 2,000 miles per hour. There you go. So, what I saw way surpassed that. And plus, at 25,000 feet. The craft also, I observed that in the center of the craft was a solid white light. And there was like a halo surrounding the outer of the craft. It was a light blue in color, almost like a transparent light blue. It had no trail to it. The emulating blue around the outside of the craft stayed with the craft. It moved right with it, and it went right straight to Mount Lassen. Okay. Sunday morning, I made myself some coffee, and while I was waiting for my coffee, I went out on the front of my porch to get some fresh air. It was approximately about around 5:45 a.m. in the morning. Now it's about 24-hour difference between when I observed these two different crafts. That's in time. As the first one, this one here came from the exact same direction, from the west, same flight pattern, horizontal, going right straight towards Mount Lassen, doing the same speed, 3,000 to 4,000 miles per hour, and was illuminating a bright white light. And there was no sound coming from it. And it was heading right straight to Mount Lassen. So, I know for a fact right now there is something going on Mount Lassen with UFOs. There is no doubt in my mind. There is something in that mountain that's attracting them to come there. You bet where I told you too. I truly believe, because I mapped it out by observing these flight patterns. I wouldn't doubt it one iota up the Pacific Northwest coast, just between California and Oregon's border, there is a submerged ET base down there, right off our coast. There has to be. As a matter of fact, that one big craft that went over here a couple of weeks ago was heading towards the west, in the same direction. They're going to go right by Mount Lassen and right straight to the coast. So, I just wanted to get this out of the way and let you guys know, so you're aware of what I have uncovered in my research up here in the last 3.5 years. I don't know of the other researchers that has done. I don't know what they have found. I have no clue. And one thing this year I haven't because I got to dig them out. I can't find them. Next spring, I am going to have special places where I'm going to start putting up my trail cams again. We're going to get down to some serious business, guys, because I'm telling you right now, these hominin hybrids, they are living on the backside of Mount Shasta in the lava tubes. Same here at Mount Lassen. You have to find the right lava tube. It has to go right into a total subterranean world, okay? And not all lava tubes do, but there are ones that do. I just gotta find them. And I will. I'm gonna find them because I'm gonna focus on that, period. I want to start coming up with some stuff that'll blow your minds, man. And if any researcher in what I do could do that, is me. Believe me. So, anyway, there you go. That's what I've done so far up here in the last 3.5 years. I hope you like the information I fed back to you on what I have found up here. And but nonetheless, they are here, and you will still see them from time to time. But we'll see what else happens. Who knows? This area here, I'm going to go in a little bit deeper. I know nobody else has been at. I might get lucky and maybe I'll come across something that's real interesting. So, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative for you. And to my family, all my cousins, and I can't say my aunt and uncles because I got one aunt left, and she's precious. And so all of my family, have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a Happy New Year. And to all my viewers out there, y'all have a Merry, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a very, very Happy New Year. And that being said and done, guys, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of my day. And so anyway, y'all take care. Catch you on the rebound. Bye.